money, so the feds can't track it, and it's really difficult to also get them arrested and use that in a court of law, because they can't see where that money gone and went to and things like that. So a lot of criminals were getting away with it. And then you have the Bitcoin mining problem as well. I mean, back then, Bitcoin mining was not very expensive, and everybody who knows anything about Bitcoin mining, when you mine one Bitcoin, the next one Bitcoin that you have to mine takes extra resources, and we're talking about extra energy, and you need a more powerful computer, you need a bigger, processing power, and you need energy for that. So in the beginning, it was fine, but as each Bitcoin takes more and more energy, it's come to the point where it was using huge amounts of energy, and most of the Bitcoin mining companies were doing their business in China, because in China you have a lot of energy there, and energy is also very cheap as well. So you had a lot of Bitcoin companies using mining in China, and also a lot of people were money laundering in China as well. They were getting their money out of China, in and out of China as well. And then overnight, China decided to stop that. And
Yeah.
and then you had the feds who actually decided to get into the Bitcoin. So it wasn't a safe platform anymore. It wasn't you wouldn't call it a decentralized platform. The feds have got their hands all over it. So that means all these criminals and underground drug dealers all stopped using Bitcoin. I believe they've all gone to other things like Monero and things like that, which is okay, but it's not great. And then the feds are getting into that as well. So it's not a platform anymore where criminals can move money around and trade with each other. It used to be like that. I mean,
Well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that, because
I'm pretty sure, because if you look at Alphabet used to be
Mhm.
it used to be a big, massive drugs platform in the dark web, and that got shut
Right.
down. And the guy,
Sure.
they managed to get hold of the guy, and they managed to get hold of all of his funds in Bitcoin,
Right.
and many other
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and then there is the Silk Road that
Yeah,
he
yeah,
eventually got arrested. Now, the part I'm going to disagree with you about is not about the element of fraud back then. I'm talking about the white collar, blatant arrogance of these absolute ASSHOLELES that have gone out there, have used technology, open websites, open trading platforms offshore. These are the guys that I'm going after now, okay? The offshore bandits that have set up these trading platforms. They get everybody to put their money in, all right?
yep.
They buy and sell, they trade, they think, "Oh yeah, I made this money, this is great." And then while they're doing it, they're front running your trades. They know what your trades are. They're
Yeah,
front running it. They're sending it to another division that they've opened up, another subsidiary. This company that went under, FTX, it took another 132 minor entities down with it. And all they were is little guys getting in there, clipping for half a cent trades or a cent trade, front running, ramping up, spiking, down ramping it. It was absolutely disgusting. Now, they got caught. Here's the problem, guys. Here is the major problem. I've just got some other news coming in. I'm not going to bring this up on the screen yet, because I'm going to wait until our audience grows a little bit bigger. But this is a rocket, what I've just got sent here. So let me just clarify a little bit more. Some guy or girl sets up in the Bahamas. Okay. They invest in a crypto trading exchange. US clients open up. We'll say they're the first target. US clients, European clients open up accounts. They put their money in, their fiat money. Money goes in, they buy these crypto coins. Now, some of these exchanges also print their own dollars or their own coins, okay?
yep.
At 0.000, it's paper. But then they put that on their books. So the Ponzi scheme starts. Now, you could put in one of your Bitcoins into the account. They could use all that liquidity to do whatever they want with it. They've done it. And I don't want to see people come on and say, oh yeah, man, it's, this is, you don't understand, Alex. I clearly understand what a pump and dump is. I clearly understand what breaking the rules is and creating these companies offshore. Okay, the Bahamas. How many integrated police departments that have in cybercrime are in the Bahamas? Okay. I mean, that can deal with something like a failure like FTX. FTX, for all those viewers that don't know, this company spent millions on the Democrats' election, and AJ, you can cover that in a second. They spent billions trading, which they've lost. The hole could be as big as $8 billion. Did they separate the accounts from their trading festivities? No. The customers got dragged down with it. We're hearing that there's over 1 million creditors. So all it takes, website, let's call it a little bit of turnkey trading software, boom, a logo, and your account is open. Now, these accounts don't report to the US. They don't report to the SEC. They don't report because they don't want to be regulated. They never wanted to be regulated. Why would they want to be regulated? And they always hide by, well, that's really why Bitcoin was in there. You know what? A guy said it really well today, and I'm going to bring this up to you guys on the screen here. He's actually a sharp guy. This guy is anti what's going on. His name is Jack Mallers. He's the CEO of Strike. Now, Strike is in the business of basically connecting. I'll try to clarify this. This young man is trying to get Bitcoin connected with fiat, connected with merchants purchasing accounts. And anyway, it's complicated, but he's not running an exchange. He's not running this. He likes the idea of Bitcoin. But this guy is interesting. And for him to come out and speak against the entire crypto market, it shows you that this guy is definitely on the right way that I would say that Bitcoin and the rest of this should be going. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it up on the tab here and let you guys listen to this guy. He's a smart guy. Well, he appeared on CNBC. So let's just have a listen.
Fallout, and also whether Strike in any form or fashion, or yourself even personally, have any kind of exposure to what we're seeing play out?
No. Strike, myself, and Bitcoin at large has nothing to do with SBF and FTX. I mean, it's nothing other than absolutely disgusting and malicious crime. In the same way that someone can go hijack a car down the street from my house, that has nothing to do with Bitcoin either. Unfortunately, it's just an extreme level of criminal activity, crime, and fraud. However, I think a really important point to make is that the world is finally starting to realize that there's Bitcoin and there's everything else. The way I like to describe the crypto industry and blockchain is it's an arbitrage on the trend. I mean, humanity really found its stride in inventing Bitcoin. Money is the most valuable market good we have in any market. It's nucleus to a functioning society. And we made and engineered the best version of it. And the fact that there are other cryptos that have been able to come along and take advantage of the pure desire and need for an invention and technological breakthrough like Bitcoin, and then be able to sell things like Orange Coin and Pink Coin and FTX Coin, which are just vehicles to commit violent levels of crime. It's sad and it's disgusting. And it's got to stop. So it has nothing to do with Bitcoin. If anything, it should be a very expensive and painful lesson of that there's Bitcoin and there's everything else. And the last thing I'll say is doesn't shock me at all that FTX actually owns 0 Bitcoin. Because if you want to commit fraud, if you want to commit crime, if you want to upsell and wash trade pictures of monkeys, you don't use Bitcoin. This is a well-engineered freedom fighting tool for our species. And there's everything else it's got to stop. So the arbitrage on this trend has been margin called. And it's over. And now people can see the difference between what is a well-engineered tool for humanity and what is FTX counterfeit coin.
You have strong opinions on this, and I get that. And certainly many other Bitcoin enthusiasts, such as yourself, have said very similar things on our programming over the past week plus since we've seen the implosion of FTX. I want to get into that because it sort of speaks to DeFi versus centralized. But first, I mean, the fact that you are seeing some contagion, at least in the broader cryptocurrency now, it's clearly a culling that's underway. You could argue it started before FTX. It's continuing now. Does it set back broader adoption of something like Bitcoin because it's considered, for better or worse, part of this broader industry?
Sure. I mean, you could think of it two ways. They had to get washed out, right? You had a criminal running rampant. They had to get caught. So better catch them today than tomorrow. So in that way, we're making progress. Actual real value that's pushing forward is being realized, and those faking it are getting in trouble. That's a good thing. But no, I've always said the biggest cost of the arbitrage on the trend, outside of the very obvious, and I don't want to dilute this, is just innocent people losing money, which is absolutely terrible and awful, and they should not have been allowed to be subjected to that. But that aside is the cost of just human capital. Is
so,
that like
so
I'm
you're
saying?
saying unequivocally free?
I'm not sitting next to my lawyer. I don't know what claims I'm allowed to make. But you tell me, Tyler.
That's not for me to say. I'm the
Okay,
questioner
yeah,
here.
I think the guy created funny money out of thin air, potentially washed it, borrowed against it with customer funds, and lost it all.
All right.
That's not legal.
Okay, cool. Well, not cool, but you know what I'm saying. I just thank you for your answer.
Sure.
Freedom fighting tool for our species. That's highfalutin rhetoric. Why do you say that?
Bitcoin gives everyone in the world property rights secured by mathematics. I mean, Bitcoin is the first monetary asset that we've been able to engineer with no natural issuer. Bitcoin has no liability relationship with anyone else. It is a guaranteed, fixed, protected monetary policy and instrument. I mean, in order to function any sort of scalable trade, which is underpins society. I grow bananas, you sell apples, Tyler. We got to find a way to exchange. Money is the nucleus of functioning human society. And we've been able to a breakthrough in computer science and engineer the best version of that is accessible to everyone and equitable for everyone. No one has an advantage. There's no issuer. Even Satoshi Nakamoto had to use energy to his or her first Bitcoins. Huge deal. Huge advancement.
What does regulation, what does this do to, what does regulation now do to Bitcoin, given the fact that there is now a bigger risk of a broader brushstroke used by regulators, given everything that we're seeing play out in other areas of cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I mean, my take is either the SEC or an agency like it has to stop existing and admit to the free market. It's your responsibility. But if they're going to say that we will help protect you, they need to do that.
Well, there you guys go. So, I mean, it's very clear. There's another thing that I want to bring up on this program, and that you guys aren't probably aware of directly, but I think you are indirectly aware of. There are other content creators out there that call themselves, we'll call it financial gurus or influencers that are out there. They have handsomely been rewarded from these crypto companies. And I used to always see in some of my videos, people starting conversations about crypto. And if you think that is spam, that is not. That is a well-orchestrated promotion that has undertaken. They do that on a lot of finance sites. They go and they strike up a conversation. Oh, my life changed since I got into this. Now, I'm not saying that certain technologies are bad or certain inventions are bad. The Bitcoin is a very, very interesting idea. And if used right and effectively right, it works. But the problem is now that entire industry is riddled with crime, riddled with fraud. And I'm going to bring up on this, I've just done a little bit of digging here over the last few days. And the reason why I bring that up is there's a lawsuit that has just hit the South District of Florida, Miami. This is a class action lawsuit against the SBF and the FTX company. This is a class action complaint and demand letter for a jury trial. Now, let me just go on a little bit of larger screen here to try to show you guys what we're looking at here. But this pretty much spells out what's been going on here. It names all the companies from the owner or the former CEO of FTX. He goes by the name of SBF, Sam Bankman. I call his last name Fraud now, Sam Bankman Fraud.
Yeah.
But you will see a lot of the people that are named in this lawsuit, everyone. So Sam Bankman Fraud, whatever you want to call it, Tom Brady, Stephen
Yeah.
Curry, Golden State Warriors, Shaquille O'Neal,
Whoa.
William Trevor Lawrence, Naomi Osaka, Lawrence Ginny David, Kevin O'Leary is part of this.
Yeah.
And this lawsuit, I'm going to tell you, you can't run away from these class action lawsuits.
No.
These are bloody expensive. They have the power and the ability to garnish or at least have an effect. If you're in business, this is the last thing that you want to have drop on your doorstep. And we are seeing a lot of big names there. And I'm pretty surprised about this. But there's something going around on the content creators that there's a lot of YouTubers that made a lot of money pumping and promoting crypto. And maybe AJ, you can talk about that subject and add some more to this.
Yeah, sure. I was actually trying to finish what I was saying earlier. I was coming to a point, so I'll try to basically finish my point. So I did say that Bitcoin basically got kicked out of China, and so they lost a huge market in China. And then they also started losing out on lots of kind of drug dealers who are doing trades in the dark net. So what did FTX and other Bitcoin currencies do? They basically doubled down on money laundering, and they doubled down with new contracts with the government. And that's what they've done. They basically shook hands with the devil, shook hands with the administration, and decided to launder money for them for Ukraine. And this seems to be a winner for them. Everybody was winning. They were making loads of money. Ukraine, Zelensky was making a lot of money. The people in the White House and Senates were making a lot of money laundering for Ukraine. And you're talking about big business here. You're talking, how much money has gone into Ukraine since the start of the war? We're talking well over 100 billion. So out go the small change, these drug dealers and stuff and China, but now in comes all of these major money laundering organizations, the government, and they basically shook hands with the devil. They've doubled down with all these money laundering things, and this is where they've ended up. And yeah, I was just trying to come to that point. So what was you mentioned a question you wanted to kind of
Yeah, I mean, there are, and I'm not gonna bring it up on the YouTubers that were paid, but there are a lot of content creators out there that are promoting,
Yeah, of course,
these
I mean,
exchanges. FTX is everywhere on a lot of.
yeah,
There's four of them in particular.
yeah. I mean, you just have to look at my channel, and sometimes you have all of these spam comments coming up saying crypto this, crypto that, FTX this, FTX that, and everybody's probably seen it. It's not just my channel, but in every other channel as well. You see all of
This
these.
is
Yeah,
yeah, and here's a viewer that's saying, just have a look at the screen here, AJ. This is exactly what you're saying. Is wonder how many of those YouTubers who said China will collapse in X days promoted FTX. Funny enough, you say that. In fact, you are right. I seen some of these videos that said 28 days till China collapses, and these guys were pushing actually FTX. You
yeah,
are
that's
right.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah, so
it's amazing. This is
they've all
huge.
got an agenda. They've all got agenda. They all hate China because China kicked them out. So this is why a lot of them who actually promote FTX and promote cryptocurrency basically have an agenda against China because they've kicked them out of the market. They've lost a lot of money, and now they're coming up with all these ridiculous stories about China. And now they've obviously double down on FTX, double down on Ukraine, and it's really has bitten them in the ass. And because when you start doing money laundering for Ukraine, you basically they're bitten off more than they can chew, Alex. I think it's just it's one big shark they decided to swim within
It's
in the
crazy.
waters.
I'm just wondering if our audience is aware of who is the largest. Now that FTX has fallen, let's have a look in the side chair. I know I'm not a big crypto guy here, but it's come on strong here in the last couple of weeks when you're seeing staggering numbers that are way bigger than the losses that Bernie Madoff caused on people. These are astronomical. And even the Winkle brothers, who were, I guess, a shareholder at one time of Facebook, or even potentially involved in the actual development of that, their business went to the wall as well. Gemini and Genesis, those went to filed for bankruptcy. But let's have a look here. I'm just going to see if in the side chat, because this is I'm setting this up for the next part. Does anybody know which is the largest trading platform out there besides, I guess, Brian Armstrong's company, Coinbase? Does anybody know?
It's Benziga, isn't it? Benziga.
So you're talking about CZ, right? You're Binance? You're talking Binance? Binance. Okay, here we go. Binance is the biggest now.
Yeah, Binance.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, got some breaking news for you guys here. This doesn't look good. Okay, this does not look good at all. This is very troubling news. Binance has suspended Solana USDT. If you're not familiar with USDT is, that's Tether. That is another gigantic one-to-one pegging of US dollars to their, we'll call it algorithmic coin. But Solana cryptocurrency fell nearly 5% during today's session at a pace of decline accelerating. Crypto exchange Binance and OKX announced temporary suspensions, USDC SOL and the USDT SOL deposits. This is huge news. So something is cooking here. This is not good. I don't know what that means. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and this is all over. We're seeing this fall over and fall over and fall over, and this is not good when you see Solana and USDT and the USDC deposits get suspended. This is bad news. I also got a WeChat message from a friend of mine here, and he's saying notice to the suspension of withdrawals on Solana network. Fellow Binanceans, withdrawals on the Solana SOL network have been suspended. Okay, and 9 minutes ago, breaking, Binance suspends Solana, USDT, and USDC. The move comes after recent suspension of USDC and USD on Solana deposits and withdrawals by crypto.com. Oh boy. This is going to go all over the place. I don't know where this is going to land, but I don't think regulation is going to fix this either, because there's just, these entities are all over the place. It's a whack-a-mole. You're going to have quite a difficult time trying to shut this down. And it's a Wild West, I guess. You know, if you want to throw money at it, it is like musical chairs. The music stops, your money's in that account. It's gone. It's gone. No, there's nowhere to protect you. Everybody's screaming regulation now. But they were happy to put their money. Look, you're putting your money in the Bahamas, the Turks and Caicos. I mean, non-regulated, non-protected accounts trading this. What do you guys think is going to happen? It's crazy.
Let me tell you a story, Alex.
Please do.
so I've never invested in crypto myself, mainly because I've heard some real nightmares. And one of these nightmares came from one of my best friends, and he basically, what he did, he put all of his savings into Bitcoin, and he put all the keys in a hard drive. It's like a portable hard disk, basically, and that's got all of his keys and everything in his life was in this hard drive, in this little pen drive, USB drive. And he was traveling, basically, and he basically had this in his keys, and his keys were in his pocket, and he's put his mobile phone in the same pocket, and he was traveling, and he went to another country, and he decided to kind of cash out this all of his Bitcoin that he transferred. Obviously, you cannot take money in cash to another country. So this is how he did it. So he landed, and first thing he looked for was a computer, a cafe. He went into the cafe, plugged in his pen drive, and guess what? The pen drive got corrupted because it was in the same pocket as his mobile phone
Oh my.
and his keys. So he lost. We're talking about £500,000 he lost because he sold his house, he sold everything, and he got completely corrupted. And he was like, okay, nothing to worry about. I'm just gonna take it to a PC repair shop, and I'm sure they'll fix it. So he took it to the PC repair shop, and guess what? They couldn't recover it. They couldn't fix it.
Oh my
And
Lord.
so
My.
that's all of it gone. So when people say to me, "Oh, crypto is safe. You can keep it in your key. You can take it around with you," I don't believe any of that shit, because when it gets corrupted, or when something happens to it, or if you lose it, then that's it. All of your money is gone. And I don't believe in anything online as well. If you're online and you kind of you have your key saved on your laptop and stuff like that, again, these can be hacked. It's so easy to hack other people's laptops through the internet, and you just cannot trust crypto. That's why I've never ever kind of invested in it or used it in any capacity. I just do not trust it, Alex. And seeing all of this happening right now, I was 100% right not to touch it. And I'm sure a lot of people have been burnt through this. A lot of people.
And I don't think everybody targets the word Bitcoin. I mean, I understand that I understand. Okay, crypto community. I understand. Okay, I understand where you want Bitcoin to go. The issue, and we just saw that young lad that was on the program talking to CNBC earlier. There's Bitcoin, and then there's the rest. He's right about that. The rest is what I'm really focusing on in tonight here, and that really has a catastrophic effect on people. We are talking millions and millions of clients that have been just thrown to the wall here. Now you could say, well, they shouldn't have been silly. They could have got their money out. You got to remember that sometimes these things are dressed up to look like a bank. They even say they're a bank. They even say their deposits are protected. And sometimes it's good to look back and maybe listen to some of the, the gurus of older years, the guys that have been in these financial markets for many years. Okay. And here's one other little video that I would like to share with the audience, because after I watched this, I was kind of like, okay, and this is one of Berkshire's Munger. You can just listen to what he's got to say here, because this is quite interesting. And of course, he's always been a skeptic, but he doubles down. Let's have a listen.
Sticking with crypto this morning, our Becky Quick caught up with Berkshire's Vice Chairman Charlie Munger, longtime crypto skeptic, and joins us now with some of the highlights. Becky, I wasn't sure he would be able to find new ways to talk about crypto, but you got it out of him.
Well, he's a pretty creative guy. You know that he hasn't liked crypto, hasn't liked it for a long time. He's called it evil. He's called it rat poison. He's even compared it earlier this to venereal disease. And if you wonder if the debacle at FTX is making him like it anymore, well, you might be right if you thought, no, that is not the case. It's not just crypto that he's concerned with, but it's also a lot of the big name investors that we're very familiar with, names like Sequoia that got involved with FTX. That's where he's focusing some of his ire today, too.
It pains me that in my own country, I see people that were once regarded as very reputable people helping these things exist, promoting their use and so forth. This is a very, very bad thing. The country did not need a currency that's good for kidnappers and so on.
What do you think happened? Because there are a lot of big names, a lot of people and firms that you might not have anticipated.
That's what depresses me. There are people who think they just got to be on every deal that's hot, and they don't care whether it's child prostitution or Bitcoin. If it's hot, they want to be on it.
Wow.
I think that's totally crazy. Reputation is very helpful in financial life. And to destroy your reputation by associating with scumballs and their scumball promotions, is a huge mistake.
Do you think those companies did any due diligence, or what happened?
I think they actually mean well, so that you're seeing a lot of delusion. It's partly fraud and partly delusion. That's a bad combination. I don't like either fraud or, and the delusion may be more extreme than the fraud.
Delusion, how so?
Nobody's going to bet a new thing that every 12-year-old kid can be a billionaire or something. He just calls it Munger coin. He starts trading it or something. It's crazy. It's demented.
Now, Munger did say that there was an underlyingness to the whole thing, a good idea underneath it. This idea, he said, that a lot of people got dragged in by the computer science aspect of it all. But he says it's a lot easier to take a good idea to wretched excess than it is a bad idea. That's something Ben Graham taught years and years ago, and he referenced Ben Graham and talking about some of those issues. He said that one of the big issues he has is, yes, people are going to dress this up. They're going to make it sound different. He said, because nobody ever tells you that they're trying to sell you crap, although he used a different word for it. And it's just that this is the smoke and mirrors, the magic and fairy dust, as he puts it, in terms of putting those things out there. Guys, I'll send it back over to you.
So interesting. And we see some comments here in the sidebar here that this is similar to the stock market. You know, at least on the stock market, for most part, you have an orderly market. You have regulators that can't catch everything, but they try their most. You have balance sheets. You have companies behind that balance sheets. They have employees. They have accounting departments. They have a board members. They have accountability. At least you can scream to the high heavens if something is wrong with that company, or if you've been defrauded, you have some sort of protection. Here is when the bandits that are offshore and other entities, and some of them are purposely in countries that don't have extradition, then it's very hard. And overnight, you lose your money. There are some creditor protections in some U.S. banks. I know in Switzerland and many other European banks, there's a minimal deposit insurance that is, you know, at least, you know, welcoming. It's not really the big players that, you know, that are the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about the, you know, the Ma's and the Pa's and the young guys that have, you know, maybe their life savings in here. You know, $5,000 to somebody at 18 years old is a lot of money. It was when I was at 18. And if they believed in it and were told to believe in it, you got to remember here, AJ, as well, we're talking about an entire generation that has been trained to buy and sell and trade these coins. And I'm eliminating Bitcoin from this, okay? I'm talking about these exchanges here. You have at least a decade of young people that have got into this market, and this is what they know. We can't blame them for that. It's like a new fad for us, you know. We I don't know, we caught in on a fad, but this here is it's a young generation that I believe were most of the people behind driving this, at least from what I'm seeing on the influencers that are pushing this. Some of them are in their early 20s or late 20s. Well, you know, rewind 10 years ago, you know, they're 19, 20 years old, and now they're buying into this. So where something went wrong, and society is telling them that you should buy and sell these coins. Don't trust in your local country's currency. I can understand that. But the problem here now is the vultures came in, guys. The vultures, they've come in and they've just wiped off billions of dollars of the people's money. So you can imagine all throughout the United States, the United Kingdom, and all throughout Europe, there's a lot of young brains that aren't really understanding how they've lost everything overnight without any protection. Us older dogs, we put our money in the bank, we play the market, we buy and sell securities, and we have an understanding that there is some protection and some risk. But some of this younger generation that's being wrapped up in this, guys, there's victims out there, and they're into the millions, and it's gaining speed. Maybe you can add to that, AJ.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that, they have been sending a lot of money to Ukraine via this as well. A lot of money has been people have been giving charity and stuff. Everything's ended up on the FTX. And funnily enough, Alex, the day FTX collapsed, day later, you see people from Ukraine, the Prime Minister of Ukraine, saying that Ukraine is in dire straits. We need money now. We need billions. And then Zelensky he's saying, "Oh, I'm open for peace talks. I'm open for." They know the game is up, and that's why they're either asking for money or they're asking for peace talks. And it's no coincidence that this happened a day later. But Alex, if you give me 5-10 minutes, I've just got a quick call I need to
Sure,
take
no problem.
from work.
Take it, AJ.
If you carry on,
Take it easy.
I'll come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Right.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, AJ
Cheers.
will join us back here in a bit. So everyone, I want to now discuss something else with you guys. We say that, a lot of the victims are, let's say, younger adults that are experiencing losses. When they log into their accounts, they're told that they can't withdraw their money. They suspend transactions. This is devastating. But something else that I want to bring to everyone's attention is there was a lot of major companies involved in financing FTX. And FTX is, we'll call it the exchange of flavor right now, because they're the ones that are, in all the headlines. I'm just going to see if I can pick up and see who exactly was investing in this. So there were some big names in here, some huge names. Investors included BlackRock. So if you're invested in BlackRock, you're affected. Tiger Global, you're affected. Insight Partners, Paradigm, as well as, can you believe this? I believe it was the Canadian Pension Fund is involved in this as well. And some of these, Socorro Financing lost $150 million. Now they say, well, it didn't really massively affect our bottom line, but still, that's $150 million gone. It's gone. So amazing. And these are some big names. As well as, we will continue to see names fall as this goes on. How many people lost money with FTX? Over 1 million people and businesses could be owed money following the collapse of the crypto exchange FTX, according to the bankruptcy filings. There's also been reports that FTX suffered a hack, allegedly, taking millions of dollars of crypto from the firm. It's a worrying time for individuals who have lost money in that. We are seeing, big names with this as well. We saw some disturbing news coming out of Binance as well. So these alleged trading firms, I like how they call themselves trading firms and trading platforms. Sorry, guys, but most of this stuff is just, it's make-believe stuff. It's really, okay, I'm going to start a website and I'm going to start a trading firm and I'm going to call it, CBDYX, and, or something with that X at the end there, FX, it's kind of like for Forex, but FTX, and then they use the words, we're going to arbitrage and we're selling derivatives. And basically at the end of the day, it's made to look good, flashy and nice websites that are showing beautifully trading little candle bars, red and green candles, and gets you excited about trading. And the next thing you know, your money's gone. And it's there. There are people that will continue to invest in this, even if the warnings aren't there, but they will. Let's have a look at this comment here. So irregular investing in crypto for a pension fund. Yes, it's interesting. Let me find who it was that invested in that pension fund, FTX investment. Let me just try to pull up the name, guys. Yeah, okay, us. And here we go. I'm going to pull this up for you guys to just read this while we're on here. And this is pretty damn disturbing. I mean, this is crazy. I can't even believe I'm reading this. So if you say that you're not affected by crypto, you just might be, okay? And here's why. Let's have a look here on the tab here. Let me just bring this story up here. And this is my Canadian neighbors here. You guys can see, as FTX ties in Canada grew, was due diligence done by regulators and the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan? Seriously, guys. I mean, I am speechless, and I don't know how much money the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan put in there, but it was a lot. And yeah, where is the due diligence? Okay, the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan had its own opportunity to conduct due diligence into FTX. Teachers said last week that it invested, get ready for it, guys. Get ready. I can't believe this. A total of $95 million into FTX over 2 rounds. $75 million in October 2021, followed by an additional $20 million in 2022. This week, the teacher spokesman, Dan Mage, would not say whether it performed due diligence before it invested in FTX. Shocking. People should go to jail. Get out the orange jumpsuits because, yeah, you guys should be going to jail. It's very, very simple. Will the regulators do things? They might find a couple of fall guys for this, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the comments here. Dark cloud, possibly interesting. Yes, we saw this on today's headline. Trudeau needs another scolding from Xi. Yeah, we saw that was interesting as well. Thank you guys for showing that. This is interesting. I kind of agree with you on this. White won't happen. White collar crime is never prosecuted. And this is another one saying that Kim Kardashian, all of those influencers should go to jail as well. I would say that they should give the money back and put it into a fund to at least help pay off these creditors or these, we'll call it client. But here's the issue in bankruptcy reporting: anybody can throw an invoice in there. And when you got 130 some companies like this guy did at FTX, he can just say, well, that company's owed 10 million, that's owed that. And it's up to the person that's winding down these companies to decide that. It's pretty crazy here. This is interesting, JD. You're on the cuff this one, that's for sure. I wonder how El Salvador is faring this week. Yes, and if you guys aren't aware that El Salvador has recognized Bitcoin, I don't think it's too much about Bitcoin itself, everyone. I think it's more focused on these trading firms and these alternative coins and these, derivative trading, cryptocurrency thing. It's crazy. Yes, and you guys are really on top of this story for sure. The Democrats got 40 million from FTX. Where's the outrage? Will they return it to investors? It's funny. I did see a comment on that yesterday where they did claim that they're going to put together a fund or to help with that. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. This is good. JD, again, I'm going to use your quotes here. I bet their due diligence was something like, if it's good enough for BlackRock, it's good enough for me. I think that's pretty accurate because we're talking about some serious firms here that lost a lot of money here on these exchanges. And the news coming out of Binance in the last few minutes hasn't been great either. It looks like it has actually spilled onto the futures market here in the United States here, and it looks like it's going to be an ugly open for the American markets here tonight. They're showing the NASDAQ is down 1.56 pre-market, S&P is down 1.35 pre-market, and the Dow futures are down almost 400. Yeah, it's troubling, and to see a lot of these go on even during the pandemic. I think a lot of people were just sitting at home trading, and a lot more promotion was going on. A lot of money was coming into these companies. I mean, their turnover was massive, guys. It was bigger than some of the banks in the United States. And like they say, things come to an end. Let's see here. Called out Binance. Yes, correct. Okay, that's interesting. Just so you guys know, if you're just joining now, AJ will be back in a few minutes. My name is Alex. I also have a channel called Reportify Media. If you haven't seen it, check out the description in the link in the description below. And I'm also broadcasting on iChongqing. If the audience isn't aware of that, iChongqing, it's ICHONGQING. The links are available in also AJ's descriptions as well. So our topic today is the crypto chaos, and I really appreciate you guys spending some time here. FTX was used by many cryptocurrency companies. They will go broke soon. That's right. We're starting to see contagion happen, and it is rampant. It is going on everywhere. A few that went down here today, I believe. Let's just see what companies have gone under here in the last week here. It's been quite a few. Maybe you guys can chime in the comments and let us know if you know anybody that has been affected by this, and maybe you guys have a story that you guys can share with us, because we definitely be interested in hearing that. BlockFi also prepares for potential bankruptcy as crypto contagion spreads as well. BlockFi, we can get some information on BlockFi. Let's see how many account holders at BlockFi there are and how badly they were affected. BlockFi is a digital asset founded in 2017. It is based in Jersey City, New Jersey. It was once valued at $3 billion. Nice amount. All of these have billions. I'm looking at some of the comments. You guys crack me up. BlockFi is a digital asset lender. A lender, okay. Founded in 2017, it was announced that the cryptocurrency exchange FTX made a deal with an option to buy BlockFi for up to $240 million. The deal included $400 million credit facility. Well, there's where you get your massive black hole in FTX. In November 2022, after a declaration of bankruptcy of FTX, the company halted withdrawals. That means clients can't get their money out. The firm disclosed significant exposure to FTX on the 14th and the 15th. BlockFi filed for bankruptcy. So not good. I believe Genesis has already gone to the wall, Blue Star. I believe they announced that today. Maybe you guys have some predictions on other firms that could potentially be in trouble if you are following this kind of thing, as well as another thing that I want to bring up is this has repercussions. This is going on and on through other companies, and this will spill over eventually into other markets around the world. There's just too much money going around here. Hi, Ronnie. Just to answer you, AJ, where is AJ? He will be back soon. He's just on a call right now. It's AJ is punished by his boss. That's true. Yes, this is interesting. They all had a shady business with Sam Bankrupt fraud. Yeah, and I believe maybe you guys can bring to the attention to some of the people watching today what other firms or funds that you think are in trouble. You know, I can only go back to maybe was it 2008 or 9 when we got some news about Bernie Madoff, and that really rocked the market. He was convicted in March of 2009. But they did manage to retrieve a lot of that money. Not all of it, but enough that they were refunding or giving people some money back, and some of the banks did actually cover that. But let's just see how much investor losses were with Madoff, and let's compare them to today. So Madoff Investment Security lost billions of dollars. The amount missing the clients, over 2/3 of which were fabricated gains. So they're coming in with probably around 20 billion, maybe less. Madoff was serving. He was serving a 150-year prison sentence for his scheme. Investigators say he defrauded as many as 37,000 people. That sounds pretty small compared to what these gangsters have got away with over the last couple of weeks. I mean, we're talking huge account numbers here, into the millions of people that have lost a staggering amount of money. Yes, Rolf, Genesis has halted its withdrawals. It's incredible with what's been going on in this space, really. Frankie boy, Madoff stole from the rich is why he is in prison. But yes, I do think, as one firm goes down, more will follow. This is going to be a very, very long-term thing. This is going to take a lot of time to work itself out. And if you guys aren't aware how these bankruptcy proceedings happen, it's very clear. The trustees go in, they basically lock down the bank accounts. Of course, they have their own bill that they put in for doing their job. It's quite a job for the accountants and the lawyers to work out, but they make sure that they get paid first. So they jump in, they basically send creditors a letter, how much you owe, put it on paper. And once they collect, find out where all this money or some of it is gone or what is left, what they can sell, whether it's the kitchen sink or the desk in the office, then it's broken up on a, per cents on the dollar transaction after that. Basically, you can take what you want from that. Some people get zero. Some people wait it out, and some of these things take a decade to work themselves out. It's interesting that, in China here, they banned crypto a few years ago, and this is interesting because now you have a country that is not exposed to this type of fraud. Okay. And it's a big market. It's 1.5 billion people. The Earth just hit a population of 8 billion, I think 2 weeks ago. But that tells you that this was a huge market. And lo and behold, the government did protect people. So Dark Cloud, AJ will answer that in a few minutes when he comes back on there. I believe that we will get into a second phase of this. Just would like to know where everybody's viewing from today, so we have a good idea of what time frame that you guys are in. If you could put maybe a general city or state or country that you guys are coming in and watching the program, that would be really helpful to us. And as AJ when he gets back. All right. So yes. I'm just watching, seeing where everybody's coming in from. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Who do you guys think is the next company to fall? That would be the interesting question. Which is the next one to fall? Is it going to be, and what country? That would be interesting. I bet you it is one that is definitely offshore. That is for sure. Let's talk about the geopolitical climate here and what could really happen. We're talking a lot of money here, and you know, all the arrows go to the regulator saying, how could you not see this? How could you not see this happen? A lot of this stuff is started, you know, with a good idea. A lot of it is state bound started, and then it goes offshore for a reason. And it ends up offshore. And because there's less regulators over there, they don't really care as long as you're paying. And just to let you know, it costs about $1,000 to open up an offshore company. To get a bank account attached to that, maybe another grand, a couple of directors.